I hope you're feeling much better and progressing every day. It sounds like things are progressing, so I'm excited for you that in that way. Hello, Miss Shelley. Hello, hello. It is, well, now it stopped. It's not snowing now.
It's a blizzard.
It's a blizzard. It's been snowing and blowing like insane. Crazy. But it just stopped. So you can even see the mountain outside now, but up until like 2 seconds ago, you couldn't see anything. It was just sideways snow. So we are hunkered in today. Fire's going and cracking behind me. And
no, we're not hunkered in.
We're not hunkered in?
No.
Oh, no. No, the poor mountain man. It's such a poor mountain.
You might be hunkered in. I ain't hunkered in.
He's going to cry.
This is terrible.
You might die or even worse.
I might die or even worse. I could freeze to death and lose my phalanges or something. She's sending me out in this blizzard.
But look, there's no snow now. It stopped blowing. Just because you tied your shoes.
It's still blowing.
That's off the roof. Look out here. There's no snow.
No.
You put your boots on and God removed the snow.
It's a blizzard and I could be killed or even worse. She's sending me out into this stuff.
Do note, I am doing nothing of the kind.
She's sending me out into this stuff to die, just so she can have some water.
Actually, explain why I need water.
So you can do wash.
Whose wash?
Mine and yours.
Well, I still have clothes.
Yeah.
I still have clothes.
Yeah. But I could be killed or even worse. So this could be the last time you see me.
That's okay. I'm actually blessed that he's getting water because I could be killed or worse by his clothing. So it's all good. We'll survive.
This blizzard could be terrible. Yeah, I could die or even worse.
Poor guy. Say some prayers for him. It's going to be terrible.
We're doomed.
You're doomed.
I'm doomed. Yeah, you can stay in the nice warm. I don't want to bother you.
Oh, you're so sweet. On that note, I'm spinning the camera. But I'm going to show you guys this, though. There is no snow. Although there was. It was just, you couldn't even see outside. But look at that. It's nice out. But yes, it was blowing sideways. The tarp on the four-wheeler out here was all disheveled and blowing. So it did look terrible, but they're not seeing that now.
Of course not.
Although it is still windy. It's windy. He'll survive, though.
No, I won't.
He's a big boy.
No, I could be killed or worse.
Oh, enough of his antics. Anyway, he needs his clothing washed, so he's... Like, I could actually force him to do anything.
Oh, she forces me.
It's terrible. It's terrible. All right, let me see here. We got Miss Toik on here, and she's doing lots of laughing. Yes. Miss Shelley says, no snow here, but the wind just picked up not too long ago. Yeah, the winds were crazy. Sometimes the winds come through here, and it feels like the roof is just going to pick right off the house. It's just crazy. We've been getting some really strong gusts, so we've been doing some hefty praying when that happens, with all these tall trees back here. I'll be praying that you survive. You need the jug.
I could be killed. Just the things I do for you.
I know, I'm blessed.
Oh.
You're
I
so
could
sweet.
kill myself and you don't care.
Oh.
She's like, I don't care. I want laundry done. I don't care. Just go get me water.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. Toika says, oh, Tammy, tie a rope around his waist so you can pull him back in.
Oh, no, she'll be
and
like...
my knee boots.
No, she'd be like, get out there. You aren't done yet.
Oh, my goodness. The Trier antics. Can you believe it? Good morning, Miss Tammy. Right. Shelley says, lol.
Somebody please save me.
He's got it so terrible.
I'm doomed.
Or even worse. Right.
If I go out there, I might not come back.
You'll be back. Because you'd miss me.
Well, not if I can't find my way.
Oh, you'll find
in the
me.
blizzard.
You're the mountain man.
Yeah, but they get lost too.
You've got special vision.
Oh.
Oh no, that's right. That's the mountain boy.
I got special vision, all right.
You best go. Oh my goodness. All right. So Toika says if he isn't going to make it, have him tie the rope on the water.
Oh, so she can have the water. I see. No, wait a minute. It sounds like everybody's trying to get rid of me here. I don't know about all this. I don't know about all this.
Well, it sounds like Toika has to do that with her chihuahuas to make sure they make it back inside. That was a pretty funny comment. I saw that this morning before I got on the meeting with Austin. Oh, that's funny. In that kind of snow, you lose them. They just make little tunnels, I imagine.
All right, I'm out of here.
All right.
Before I die.
Be safe.
No, I can't see.
Seriously, you couldn't earlier. You go out, there was actually snow heaped up against the door, so it was kind of funny. But he lost his effect. Oh my goodness. All right. So, Miss Diana, welcome. I'm so glad you are here. She says, hello, everyone. We're having a beautiful day, near 70 degrees and plenty of sunshine. Good. We'll send it this way. Yeah, we've got a lot of snow today. They're calling for, I don't know. I haven't looked today, but earlier this week they said like 7 today and 4 tomorrow. So we're looking at another 11 inches maybe. So we thought maybe the forecasters were right today that we were actually getting snow. I know, doesn't that sound nice, Tammy? It sounds very tranquil. Nice sunshine in 70s, high 60s and low 70s are like the perfect temperatures. That's so awesome. And I imagine you are outside and taking it in. I noticed your amber, Tammy. Just wanted to let you know that ours is working wonderful. Isn't it awesome? Yes, this stuff is awesome, awesome, awesome. It is TrayerWilderness.com/AmberSOS. She is on Etsy and she does, these are awesome. It's very hard to find adult amber necklaces. Most of the time you find them, they're for teething and they're too small, especially for his big neck. So these are great though. They really work very well at keeping the lymphatic system clean and draining, as well as for works well for anxiety and stress, and also pain. So I'm really glad to hear that it's working for you guys. Is it helping with your pain, Diana? And praying for you. Diana needs prayers for her shoulder. And pray for Robin for healing as well. And thank you for pointing that out, Diana, because yes, this is great stuff. I want to share something. I'm a little bummed that Laura isn't on here. Space Girl shared something last week with the parchment paper. And I did a little research on that because it always wondered me, you know, what the pioneers did before parchment paper, because the term parchment paper actually came from like written paper. That's how it started, with people making their own material to write on. So there was parchment paper. They actually used hide from a pig to dry and use for writing. But when it came to actual cooking, what was used is leaves. A lot of leaves were used to enable you to get the same effect that you do now today with parchment paper. So like places that have banana leaves, that was one of the main things utilized, as well as different barks as well. But banana leaves were used, fig leaves, and then cabbage leaves here in the north. So pretty interesting. And I have definitely removed the parchment from my shelves because the fact that it has silicone in it is not cool. I avoid everything with silicone. See, you survived.
Nope, I didn't.
No.
It's your imagination.
It's my imagination.
See, this is even worse. I was thinking about it out there.
Yes.
This is even worse because this is one of them off-grid blizzards.
That's true. It is an off-grid blizzard, but it's not blizzarding anymore.
So I'm definitely gonna die.
See, so all that struggle this morning.
It's an off-grid blizzard.
All that boo-hooing this morning about having to go out in the blizzard, and see, you put your boots on and God took it away.
It's a blizzard, though. It's an off-grid blizzard.
It is. It's an off-grid blizzard.
So we're doomed.
And we're stuck in our cabin in the blizzard.
Off-grid woods.
Yes.
It's off-grid.
He comes back in and all the shenanigans begin again.
I was just wanted to make sure that I didn't...
Everybody knew that?
No, that I didn't freeze to death.
Oh, while your truck warms up?
Go back in and thaw out and then go back out. And...
Well, Toyka would be lecturing you because you don't have your gloves on. You see that?
I have them.
Oh, he's got them. There we go. He's got his gloves. All right, so we're good.
Better get my parka and stuff.
Well, you might need it. And your hip waders to get through it all. And your rope so we can tie you to the water.
This is terrible. Gonna be killed or worse.
I hear the cat's out there calling you.
Yeah.
His best friend. That's said with lots of sarcasm. Miss Deb is in the house. Let me see here. Miss Shelley says we had wind warnings out for the South Island. It has just started raining. Yeah. These winds are crazy.
I'm gonna get blown away if I don't get lost in the blizzard.
Miss Deb says, howdy Tammy and all, listening again from work as best I can. Love being here with you. So much going on right now. Prayers for all who are feeling the same way. And he's gone. He's gone. He's something else. He's a handful. Yes, Deb, I hear you. I feel like I'm working 3 or 4 full-time jobs right now trying to keep up with the stuff we have going on. This week was very overwhelming. But keep seeking him. One of the things that really helped me was picturing me at the feet of Jesus and being Mary instead of Martha, because I felt like I needed to be Martha all week. I really did. There's so much I need to keep doing to keep everything going forward. Got the Mountain Boys signed up for community college. Hallelujah. Now I have 4 days to come up with all the funding. It's a whole other ball game. And we met this morning. He's all hooked up. So that is one thing off my list. And now we're getting water so I can do his wash. Let me see. Diana says, I had x-rays last Friday and it showed additional problems. I am having an MRI on Monday. Please keep praying for the Lord's provision for the MRI and the supplements I need. Praying, sister. Praying. And I will stay in touch with you. Also, please pray for Kelly, Courtney, and Mike. Courtney had an MRI 2 Saturdays ago, and the tumor that was not growing for 2 years has now grown. I think it was only like 1/2 millimeter, so it's very minute. However, the last times that they have seen growth, I'm just making sure the stove's down. The next thing you know, I'll be like a sweat box and have the doors and windows open. When it grows, it starts to grow rapidly. So they have another appointment. She Zoomed yesterday, and then they're going to Zoom, I think, Friday again, she said, once the specialists have a chance to look over things so they can come up with a game plan. But it's looking like probably radiation. So just pray. Miss Courtney has gone through a lot over the last 27 years, as has Tammy and Mike, as a result of this tumor. So please pray for them all. They are definitely looking at God in this whole situation. But yes, please pray for them. And Diana, we are praying for you as well. Good evening, Miss Carol. Carol's in the house. Miss Carol, you sound low-key today. We're praying for you too. Any changes in your situation? Praying for your family. Her son was supposed to have surgery and it did not happen. He got there and they had to reschedule because of a doctor having an emergency. And her other daughter is being cared for to eliminate sepsis at this point. And they're cleaning things out and hopefully getting that taken care of. But Miss Carol is sitting back and only able to watch. So that's very difficult as a parent. I know that. Shelly says, I am at work also, Deb. I leave the live on even when I have to do things and listen best I can. I love you guys. Thank you for being here and making it happen however you can. Toyka says, oh my, an off-grid blizzard. Right, exactly. Hello, and it's Denise, I believe is how you say that. I listened to your videos and I'm like, oh, I was calling you Dennis all that time. Welcome. We subscribe to your channel, looking forward to your build. He says, how's she going right there, Egg? Got my portable winch last week, works great. Did a vid on my channel, thanks for telling me about it. Glad you got it. That will save you so much. And also using your big equipment when you could use something like that. It just makes it so much handier, especially when you got to get into places that you can't get the big equipment in. So awesome, fantastic. That has been a lifesaver on our homestead probably for the last 8 or 9 years. I don't know what we would have done without it. We've pulled elk out, we've pulled trucks out, we've pulled, you name it, and I can't tell you how many trees. So fantastic, and happy to pass the knowledge along. Deb says, I really need to hear this right now. Thanks, not feeling alone. God will get me through this too. I just need to seek him first and not react first. Yeah, it's hard when you've got that much on your plate. I felt so stressed this week. It was insane. And I know part of that is the enemy just trying to pressure and push. And I've been listening to what's been going on in my head, and it's clearly the enemy utilizing an opportunity. But yes, there is definitely a wind of change right now. There is a wind of anxiety that I see blowing through everybody's home. You know, right now, everybody present here has something going on, and we just got to be in tune. Listen to what's going on in your head. If it's not good, that's the enemy, and he's going to use every opportunity where we weaken to seep in, and all the more right now than ever. There is just so much going on. So be aware of that. Find good coping mechanisms. Drink some lavender and chamomile tea. Take breaks and get yourself in a good place. I've had to keep doing that all week. It's just been, and recruit your prayer warriors, because when you know you're in that place and you know you're under attack, the more prayers coming your way will just kind of help put a hedge of protection over you. So, Deb, you got extra prayers coming. Hello, Miss Jane. Glad you're here. Let me see here. Diana says, praying for Courtney, Kelly, and Mike. Awesome. And Deb says, thanks, Shelly, and all for prayers and support, and back to you as well. Awesome. Love you guys, loving on each other. Toyka is here. Toyka's in the house. She's been laughing. Miss Carol's saying hello to everybody, and I bet Denise is saving your back. That thing is just such a blessing. He is talking about the portable winch that we have a link for. It's not in this one, but on all of our house builds, you will find a link for the portable winch. And I think if you go to TreyerWilderness.com/portable winch, it will take you right to the item, but almost necessity item for our homestead. It's just been a huge blessing for us. Miss Jane says, breaking news, an airline pilot saw a UFO over Phoenix. We've got an off-grid blizzard.
I saw Elvis.
Sorry, dog. What, while you're out in the blizzard, what was he tied off to?
Yeah, a tree. Uncle Darn into it.
Oh, gosh. He's in rare form today. Of course, he's always in rare form. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so Jane, how are you feeling? And I'm looking here. Toyka, how are you feeling as well? I know you were feeling really dizzy last week, so just asking on that. I know, I just stepped on the old one. Oh my goodness, he's under my feet all day. Here, you'll love this, Carol. Mrs., say hi to Carol. Tell her. She loves staying, could you see her? She loves staying behind the wood stove. It's warm back there. So, all right. Jane showed an alien. Oh, too funny. Ice storm here. Yes, we had snow, like sideways snow all morning. You missed Glenn's antics earlier. Feeding my furry kids. Be back in a few minutes, Toika says. All right, so better. Praises headaches, but that's normal for me. That spray will help with the headaches as well. Just make sure you do the oil with it. But that was one of my saving graces with the headaches. The other thing is lavender and peppermint oil across the back of my neck. A lot of people do it on the forehead, but I found that on the back of my neck, I found better relief. But I'm sure you know that because I know you probably experience headaches all the time. You could probably share some other tricks with us. But did you guys learn some stuff last week when we were going over the food? Because I'm going to continue that lesson as far as how to know what raw ingredients to stock up on. Carol's sending love and hugs to Jane. Shelley says, I'm doing great. Just received a video of 1-month-old granddaughter pushing herself across her crib with mom putting hand at her feet for her to push on. Oh, that's too cute. Yeah, you haven't seen her yet, have you? Oh, that's got to be hard. That's got to be hard. But that's awesome. Thank goodness. That is one blessing. What are you doing? That is one blessing with technology. I'm able to keep in face-to-face touch with Austin all the time. We just Zoomed with his school. Having that when we are struggling, and in places where there's lockdowns, we got to praise God on that one, that technology was created that enables us to be able to keep in touch with our loved ones and have those types of blessings despite what's going on. Our ancestors wouldn't have had those options. And, think about it when they were, back in the day when somebody got sick and they had to go somewhere where there was help, it was very far away from where the rest of the family was. So, we are blessed with the ability of technology. Technology can be overwhelming, though. That was part of my overwhelm this week because things were just blinging off the charts, and I was just being called in a million different directions to put out many fires. But at the same time, I want to remind us to think about what we are working on. Like Deb, I'm not sure exactly what you've got going on this week, but I've got so many directions and irons in the fire this week, and it's not like I can pick and choose. They all have to get done. So you have those weeks sometimes. But one thing that really helped me was looking at what I have to do and what it's going to achieve moving forward once I make it through this week. So that was my saving grace, because what I am working on, they're all blessings. They're all tremendous blessings. I just need like 4 of me to be able to accomplish it all, but they're blessings. So, some weeks are different than others. Some weeks, we can relax, we can breathe. Other weeks we are pushed to our limits. The key thing, and like Deb said earlier in her comment, is the key thing is to keep our eyes on him through it and keep our focus there, despite what we might be walking out. And that is the key thing, because you guys see me being up all the time. I was still up, but I was struggling, and I'm transparent. I was struggling. It was a hard week, but keep refocusing. When you focus on him, there's a lot of peace and comfort found there, even in those tough times. And you guys have seen me walk through some stuff. So just keep focused and pay attention to what's going on in your head. All right, I've got batteries going left and right here on my equipment. Whoops, I unplugged the wrong thing. So let me plug this back in over here so this one doesn't die. So let's dive into food. Hopefully you guys learned some new things last week. The key thing we talked about last week was making sure you're using good oils in your kitchen. Eliminating white sugars and corn syrup and all the nasty aspartame and all those different sweeteners that are chemicals and not sweeteners. My suggestions for sweeteners were stevia, honey, maple syrup, coconut palm sugar, monk fruit. Those would be my recommendations. That is what I use. I also use organic cane sugar, But I do try to avoid that because it peaks our sugar levels so much, and it's a false high. Even though it's organic, it's still not something I like to intake regularly. I try to focus on the more natural natural oils. I was going to go to the window and wave. I can't imagine he'd actually look up here. He's probably sticking his tongue out at me. Yeah, nope, he didn't look. So those are the things that I wanted to recommend in that regard. Oils, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, flaxseed oil, lard. I know I'm missing something. Grapeseed oil. But focusing and making sure that you are using non-GMO oils. Salt makes a difference too, which is something we didn't talk about last week. I do not use Morton's salt. It is like this close to being petroleum. It's not good for you. That's where your high blood pressure and that comes from. Pink Himalayan salt is what I recommend, as well as Celtic salt. They are a really good source of so much. This is what you want to switch to. Now, I use it in a grinder. I just like using the grinders, especially with the pepper. You get really good fresh pepper. But you can buy, ground Himalayan salt. My Celtic salt. This looks a little funny because I have two different varieties in one jar because I just shoved it in there, but I've got real fine and then I've got more of the coarse stuff in here. This is really, really, really good. I use that in a lot of my medicinal things that I make for myself just because it has so much value to it. So those are the two I recommend for the salts. Get rid of Morton's salt. If you've got high blood pressure and you've got health issues, getting rid of that salt will change numbers very quickly. Same with the sugar. All the sugars that I mentioned are low glycemic. The monk fruit and the coconut palm sugar are low glycemic. So, if you are diabetic, you can still use those. You still need to be careful, but you can use those. Honey and maple syrup are good alternatives also. The stevia I use is all natural. So cutting those things and adjusting those things first and foremost is really important. Checking your ingredients on things is, I saw a question, so I'm going to jump here. Let me jump back and answer a couple of these before I continue. You guys have been busy. Shelly says, okay, that was Shelly. Carol says, has anyone anything to recommend for osteoarthritis in both knees, please? The pain is so bad at the minute. I would recommend an arnica and a hemp salve that I have. I can go get it and show it to you. That is a real help. Arnica is amazing. You have to be careful with that if you have high blood pressure, but arnica is a great, great healing, and it does eliminate inflammation and pain, and hemp is really good as well. I'll go grab that in a second. Shelly says, no, I have not seen her, but pictures and videos make it easier. Yeah, just wait till you can bundle her up in your arms. Oh, man, that'll feel so good. I love putting a little fuzzy melon in the nape, in your neck. Oh, gosh, they smell so good. Diana says, I think a lot of us have love-hate relationship with technology, for sure. I mean, I'm a web designer and programmer, and last night I was loathing technology. I have got over 4,000 photos and videos on this machine that I'm recording on, and it tapped it, and I cannot, iPhone does not allow you to download videos and photos very kindly from your iPhone to a computer. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. And yesterday, praise God for some man who was willing to share that he found something new that works great. Simple transfer. If you're trying to get stuff off of your iPhone and onto your laptop, simple transfer. It is an app, and it is awesome. It is awesome, but I've got a long way to go. I think I only got I think I still have 3,000 left on my phone. Okay, so Spirit Eagle. Yes, turmeric is good as well. Must have black pepper in it. Yes, because that'll draw out and make the turmeric more effective. Spirit Eagle, remind me again, where are you from? And your name, please, if you don't mind. It's always good to have people joining. And I'm trying to remember everybody. What about date syrup, organic, just dates? Yes, dates are also really, really good and used for sweetener. I do have some, but I've run out, or had some and have run out. So yes, that is another great alternative. I used to use that in my baking a lot. So yes, dates have a natural sweetness to them and are good to use. Hello, Miss Laura. I was just talking about you a little bit ago, in a good way. I was just sharing a little bit. I did a little research on the parchment. I'll share that again then. Tammy says, Carol, you can make a yummy turmeric tea. Yes. Okay, so Carol is asking Tammy how. Miss Deb has a good recipe that she might share, and you can either share the recipes here or share them in the community. For those of you that may not be a part of the community, you can go to TrayerWilderness.com/community and sign up. It's free. It's been awesome. Lots of communication going on over there. But yes, turmeric teas are so nice. I like making a golden, Carol, this is just a simple one. Heat up some milk, add a teaspoon of turmeric, add an oil of some kind, coconut oil or cocoa butter. I use the wafers. Avocado oil would even work, and then add some ground pepper in there, and stevia and honey as well if you like, and that's a real quick. I'm always like adding to mine and throwing extra stuff in mine. Space Girl says Himalayan salt is great for stopping cravings. You know, once you start eating healthy, you really lose all the cravings. What you crave is what your body needs. It's pretty awesome. Tupelo honey can be used by diabetics. It metabolizes differently than all the other honeys. It's expensive, but worth it. Just left me. Starts with an M. There's also the medicinal honey. That's really good. I always make sure I have that on hand, and it just left me. It'll come to me. Jane says, we like monk fruit stevia if we grow our own or know the source. Exactly. Stevia is, I agree. There is a couple companies that I use their stevia because I like the way they process it. But yes, I have bags that need to be powdered, and I'm like so excited. That was the best stevia I've ever had, was the stuff we grew ourselves. Tammy says, Carol, combine to a paste, a 1/4 cup of raw honey, 1.5 tablespoons of turmeric, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of cinnamon. Combine 1.5 teaspoons paste with 3/4 warm water and a 1/4 cup of any milk. Yum. Yeah, no kidding. Those are good ingredients. The cinnamon and ginger, I love cinnamon. Cinnamon is like one of my go-to comfort foods. Arthritis pain, I've helped with my healing drink. Turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, black pepper to enhance the turmeric, moringa powder, and stevia and coconut oil. So warm. It is. It's very nice. I was gifted some of that, and I love having that. I've actually been putting that in my herbal coffee. Good deal. Carol says, thank you, Tammy. I took a pic of the instructions. I will raid my friend's kitchen tomorrow. She has everything in jars, lol. Perfect. There you go. Jane says, Deb, date syrup, yum. I will try and find. It's really good. And dates are really good. They're very healthy for you. I do a lot of figs and dates. I do a lot of nuts and berries as my snacks. Jane says, sugar is my addiction. What's really crazy, Jane, is it used to be for me too. I was always, craving sweets and bread. But once I started eating healthy, and I started using the different salts and the different sugars, I don't have the cravings like I used to at all. Like, a lot of times I have to force myself to eat because I'm just so busy. I'm not even thinking about food or have the cravings that I once had. So when you start eating healthier, your body really gets regulated. Thank you, Diana. Manuka honey is what I was trying to say earlier. And thank you for the tip on the other honey. That's awesome. I'm going to have to go back and jot that one down because I never heard of that one. Tupelo honey for diabetics. That's great. Let me see. Diana says, me too, Jane. I'm telling you guys, when you guys start, especially when you cut the organic raw cane sugar out of your diet and start using some of the others, your body really adjusts to that. And my cravings, and also when you do have the craving, like yesterday, I made, get these out of the way. I made a cranberry. I just grabbed a bag of cranberries that I had and made a cranberry crisp, and I just chopped them up. I asked you guys about your antiques the other day. This is one I don't use super regular, but this is a Bakelite handle. I love Bakelite. All of my silverware is Bakelite handles. But anyway, I chopped up the cranberries with this and then just added, and I felt like I added a lot of sugar because I added the, wow, brain fart. The monk fruit sugar on top of the cranberries, and then I made my butter, and instead of brown sugar I used the coconut palm sugar and the oats, and I felt like I put a lot of sugar in there. I kind of make my own recipes, so a lot of recipes call for a cup or 2 cups to go in such a thing, and we do that and we're like we're blown away with too much sweet. So the cranberries were tart and I added extra just to accommodate that, and it was still tart, but it was good. But that's, you know, like I get cravings for more of the healthier foods, and I get cravings for the things my body needs. If I told you what I had for breakfast this morning, you guys would die. The mountain man shook his head. Good deal. Yeah, Carol, you're getting good recipes. Those are really good recipes. Me 3, Jane. Toika says, yeah, sugar is one of the greatest causes of cravings, because the more you have it, the more you crave it. And it's not a healthy craving. It's snowing. The mountain man could die, or even worse. Oh gosh, that's right. Shelly can't use honey because she won't be able to breathe, because they take in a lot of the ragweed plants and the pollen from ragweed, so she can't have it. Jane says, sugar is what I crave. I did buy local honey, maple syrup from a friend back east. Awesome. Shelly says, I'm pretty addicted to sugar also, but if I eat anything too sweet, I shiver. Interesting. Yeah, our bodies react to that because it's comparable to smoking and alcohol. It has that much of a form of an addiction. So when we can eliminate that and start using healthier choices, you will eliminate that insane craving. I mean, I even make my own chocolate, and it is awesome. I'll put cranberries and dried blueberries and nuts, almond slivers, or chopped walnuts in it. I add cocoa and coconut oil and bring it to a boil. Add my my sweetener that I want. If I want dark chocolate, I don't add sweetener, and just add that in a saucepan and end up just pouring that into a pan and freezing it, and it is just amazing. I have a recipe, I think, for that on our website, trierwilderness.com, but I will post a link to that later. But yeah, learning to make these things is really a great way to go, because we can regulate what we are intaking, and we know what we're intaking. We can eliminate the insane cravings. Also, the terrible after effects. I know Deb struggles with the after effects of chocolate. I struggle with the after effects of most foods if it's processed. I can't do it. So, and I can't have any GMOs, and like Shelly, she's so limited. So it eliminates that painful abuse we put ourselves through. So learning to make things is what we're going to talk about today, because when you learn to make everything that you eat from scratch, your body reacts so incredibly different. Welcome, Spirit Eagle. It's a homesteader from Wyoming. Love your channel. Well, thank you, and I will head over there and check out your channel later on. I'm glad you are joining us. Let me jump back here because I did see some other questions. Carol says, when I had my breast cancers, my nurse told me to cut out all white sugar and use coconut palm sugar. She was wise. She was wise because sugar also helps breed so many things. Candida, cancer, all of those things. And the more we feed our bodies, we're feeding it the wrong stuff. Yep, Toika says, yes, Carol. Jane says, I'm trying very hard. As soon as the snow leaves, walking daily, no white sugar, more water. Yeah, that's key. It's key. Okay, breakfast, Tammy. All right. I got to share a little funny story, backstory on this. When I was in high school, there was a kid in our school who, he was one of the odd kids out. He was picked on a lot, and he was found in the corner of our lunchroom all the time, every day, because he ate anchovies. And the whole cafeteria would stink. And I grew up eating tuna fish, but I always swore I would never eat anchovies or sardines. Well, when I was really sick, a friend of mine got me a gift basket that was full of all non-GMO stuff. And there was a couple boxes of sardines and walnuts and berries. It was awesome. It was such an amazing gift. Well, I broke down and I tried those sardines. And the sardines are not like anchovies that really have that strong odor. They still stink, but it's more like a tuna fish smell. But I found once I started eating those that I was craving those. Sardines are a brain food, along with avocados, and there's a bunch of other different foods that are brain foods and are really high in omega-3s and the fatty acids, and are really, really, really good for us. So I started craving the darn things. So this morning, well, yesterday, the craving set in, and I had two packets of it. So I had some yesterday, and sure enough, this morning again, I was craving it. And you know, when I eat that, I feel so good. I just feel like I'm given such a boost. So I've really truly learned that when our body craves things, especially odd things like that. So that was my breakfast right out of the can. And I chased it with some cranberry crisp, but that was my breakfast this morning. So I've learned to eat based on what my body needs, because I also know that over time, you know, throughout the month, I can feel my body getting sluggish. I can feel my body being overloaded by food. So I switch up to bone broth, and I'll do bone broth, and I'll do lighter foods like a salad and sardines, things that I know will feed my system and replenish, and also give my digestive system a break. It's just when you become that in tune with your system, it is amazing how you can really control how you feel. It's really valuable. And that does not happen until you learn to get rid of the weird cravings by starting eating better foods and eliminating the toxicity in your diet. And, you know, it's a process. We went cold turkey because we had to. And I'm glad, because elongated to me would have been a drag. But also, when you look at society today and the financial aspect of things, that is the way you need to go oftentimes. So with what I suggested last week, those are the things that I would focus on. Paying attention to your sugars, your oils, nothing bleached. So your flours, whole flours. I use Wheat Montana. They are fabulous. Wheat Montana. And you can find that by going to TrayerWilderness.com/Wheat Montana. I also do a lot of different gluten-free. Jovial is another good company to get the einkorn berries. I use Azure Standard to be able to get my unbleached flours and my wheat berries. and paying attention to your packaging. If there's stuff, a ton of stuff in it that you can't understand and have no idea what it is, your body's not going to know what it is either, and it's not going to handle it well. It's going to take time to process it. You know, just for Austin, for an example, when he had dairy, it would take at least 4 days for it to work out of his system, possibly more. When I would eat something with a GMO or, you know, something that had something toxic in it, I was flat on my back for 7 days most of the time. So, very important to pay attention to this. And if you want to change your life, you need to do it one step at a time and really start focusing on your food, because your food and what you intake is going to change everything, as well as your physical activity. Jane touched on that, and that is so important. And drinking, we need to stay hydrated. All right, so let me see here. I have got to step to the other side. I am starting to melt. My face is getting red. Whoo, that stove is hot. All right. I'm excited. I'm going to be able to get a couple more jars this weekend, so that will enable me to get rid of the rest of this stuff. Hang on a second here, guys. I got to adjust the tripod. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Whew. All right. There we go. That's a little better. Now, all right, jump back here because I see there's lots going on. This is awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so Deb says, yummy, Tammy. Looks like my ways of baking. Been creating lots of yummy sourdough pancakes. Yum, I know. That's probably what I will be doing next week. Shelly, you have a built-in sugar shiver meter. That's funny. She does. You've hit your limit. Laura says, I completely forgot about all my old crocks, small to very large, including a beautiful butter churn. Things put away too long, maybe forgotten. Now is the perfect time to get them out. That picture you shared of your kitchen just gave me a glimpse, but it's going to look amazing. And then getting all your antiques in there and all that stuff. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. And you know what? That was my thing. Things that did not give me pleasure, you know, like that were in my jelly cupboard and things that were in here that we were using at camp that did not give me pleasure, out they went. The things that I treasure are the things in this house, and no more setting things aside. It gets used and used regularly. All right, let me see here. Deb says, I'm going to send you a pic of our breakfast yesterday morning and all week. Oh, yum. Jane says, I need to go buy some good chocolate for my cravings. You know, you're real close there. Pilgrims has some really good chocolates there. Non-GMO, good stuff. I still like making my own, but when I'm on the road, if I can, I stop at Pilgrims to hook myself up. Awesome. Diana's welcoming Spirit Eagle. Laura says, my husband thought I was crazy when I started eating Baker's chocolate cocoa. It's good for you though. And you know what? You get satisfied. It's just, there's such a difference when you're eating what's right for your body. Jane says, winds are picking up now. Crazy weather. Yeah, it's not quite snowing sideways, but it is snowing now. He's going to come back in a hoof. Carol says, welcome to the Trayer family, Spirit Eagle, and thank you for your advice. There you go. Jane says, yum, sardines, canned salmon, good canned tuna. Yeah, and that's another thing. When you're purchasing seafood, make sure you're purchasing wild-caught foods and that are non-GMO. I really hate eating things out of the can because over time the can seeps in, the metals seep into your foods. And you do need to be careful with that. I need to be careful with that. Again, though, you know, the lesser of the two evils. But that is one thing that I do get in the can. Deb says, Sterling ate sardines like crazy when he was wrestling full time. And he was unbeatable in so many ways. I need to do more of them. They are really good. I mean, I feel like so power-packed when I eat them. Awesome. I'm so glad to see you guys introducing yourselves and chatting. Toika says, how do you grind the berries, Tammy? I have Well, I had a grinder in here. The mountain man took it out to grind bait for his trapping. So that's not coming back in the kitchen. But it was just a little hand crank that was my go-to for real quick stuff. But I have a Wonder Mill Junior and the Wonder Mill Electric. So I have both. The Junior is a hand crank, but it can also be attached to like something like a bicycle. So that was our big joke. I had an exercise bike since I'm 18 and ride like a fool in the winter months normally. And that was the joke, that I was going to create power and mill our berries and all that at the same time while I was on this thing. And it has a book rack on the front. I mean, I was all set. So that was kind of the joke of things. But you can do that, and it makes it really nice because your arm does get tired if you're milling a lot of flour. But there's a lot of mills on the market. You can go to TrayerWilderness.com/wondermill and you'll find those. All of the mills tend to be pricey. You can also go to Layman's. They have different wheat mills. That's TrayerWilderness.com/Layman's. It's LEHMANS. But having your own mill is really nice because when you mill your own flour, if you have a gluten issue, a lot of times when you mill your own berries, you can eat that flour without having the gluten issues. A lot of our gluten issues are coming from how the flours were processed. So like, for example, oats are naturally gluten-free. However, when they process them, they put them on a conveyor with wheat flour. So they're tainted for those of us that can't have gluten. So you have to actually specify that you want gluten-free oats so that you're getting them that are unprocessed or untainted. So a lot of the things, are safe. I mean, you got to look back in time when all these people were eating. I mean, bread was a staple. And it was all how it was processed. Most flour was done in the grist mills and that. So, and they didn't have all the toxic sprays. So you got the sprays mixed in with the way they're processing things, and it's a toxic mess. So you want to focus on getting non-GMO flours that are unbleached and non-GMO berries. It's really important. That makes a huge difference. Look at it this way. If you are getting something with a GMO, it's got pesticides and look at it as just, it's not a natural, it is not a natural food. It's not something your body is going to process. So that's why you're focusing on looking at the packaging for non-GMO. But you want the symbol. Where is something with the symbol on it? So you've got the USDA organic, and then you've got your non-GMO. And I think it's the same in Canada. I'm not sure about the UK, but and this is true in a lot of different countries. A lot of countries, you don't have to worry so much about the toxicity in your food as you do here. Because like Germany, for example, is one that really has paid great attention to its food because it doesn't want to poison its people. So anyway, that's a whole other subject. But looking for the good food is really important. So let me jump back here. Shelly says, I'm looking into a hand grind grain mill. I will share some of my favorite resources for the grain mills in the community later today. I wanted to have it ready for today, but it just didn't happen. I apologize, Shelly. I was trying. A guava is okay. I don't personally use it because there was a lot of it that was controversial for a while, just like the olive oil. So I've just chosen to stay away from that. And I've got so many other choices here that I really like. I like the robustness of honey and maple syrup. I also like the taste and the dark flavor you get from coconut palm sugar. And I like the lightness that I get from the monk fruit. And stevia I use mainly in my beverages. So and moringa. I always forget to mention that. That's another great source. Let me jump back here. So yes, you could use that, Jane. Just make sure you're getting a good sourced guava, non-GMO. Toyka says, haven't seen Glenn back in for a bit. Do you need to pull on the rope? I might need to. Actually, it takes a little while, and if things were frozen, and knowing him, he's probably shoveling. So we are blessed by getting water from a friend. So we make it a point to take care of them in extra ways for them blessing us till we get our water here in place. Laura says, don't forget about what we put on our bodies, like toxic deodorants. Sweating is a way our bodies get rid of toxins. Why do we want to keep toxins? Exactly. And that's such a good point. That's one of the reasons why I use Angie's products from SilentTreeNaturals.com. I can't, my skin has always been sensitive, but now after being sick, I have to use all natural things or make my own. I've made a lot of my own things, but yes, being certain that you are using things that are not toxic. I was making my own deodorants for quite some time. I now use several different natural brands. It just became easier to purchase it than make it with everything we had going on. But yes, deodorants, oils, shampoos, perfumes, all that stuff has so many toxins in it. You really need to be aware of what you're using. I've had to eliminate all of that stuff because for starters, I couldn't handle the smells initially. That was just the starter. Then I would have major flares from the different things. So my usage is very minimal. My oils are straight coconut oil that I use on my body. The deodorants, again, you don't want to have anything with aluminum in it, but finding all natural brands. My friend Katie Wells over at the wellnessmama.com just came out with a new line of hair stuff. She has been pushing and focusing on natural products for a long time. She just came out with hair products that are natural. But since we're in the bathhouse and doing things in the bathhouse, I've been using baking soda and vinegar again. And I just love the way that makes my hair feel. My hair doesn't feel weighted down and like stuff stuck in it. And it doesn't affect me. Unless, of course, you get the vinegar in your eyes, which I have done on occasion. So there's a lot of great ways to do things naturally and get better effects than you would and results than you would from the stuff on the market. We're just so used to using the things on the market, and you find one that doesn't work because it makes it too greasy. So then you find another one that you use in coordination with it that doesn't make it as greasy. And we've got so much crap in our hair and on our heads, and it's really bad. And that was a really good point, Laura, because you don't realize the level of toxicity until you start completely eliminating it. And I feel like the hippie wild child, but I don't use much that's on the market. Most of what we have is either made by people like Angie or made by myself. Or just simply using, I buy a jar of coconut oil just for myself, and that's out in the bathhouse. That's used for, primping. So, and just keeping your skin good. And that's the other thing, is protecting our skin and being aware of what we should use on our skin to protect it during the day. Having good oils and good lotions on our skin helps keep all the nasty air pollutants out of our pores. So, you guys see me when we're doing stuff that's very dusty and sometimes toxic. If it's toxic, he's doing it. Not that I want to toxify him, but he's less affected by it. But he takes measures himself too with masks and covering all his skin. But when we were doing the concrete and when I was doing the cutting, one of the reasons I did that when I was using the chop saw was because when we mill, we use either diesel fuel or kerosene to keep the blade lubricated. So there is still that level of toxicity. So when I'm cutting the boards, I just don't want all that back on my skin. So really important. Thank you, Toyka. You guys are so awesome. Toyka said, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. I always forget to mention that. So subscribe, hit the like button, share, help us continuing to grow. By the way, we are almost at 5,000 subscribers. We've been very diverse all these years. So now that we are really focusing heavily on YouTube, we are seeing a lot of growth. So we're almost at 5,000. When we hit 5,000, we are going to do several different giveaways. So help us get there, and you'll all have the opportunity to get involved in some giveaways. Let me see. Deb says, can you show us what your view is right now with the snow? I can. Hang on. It is. Oop, that's in front of the screen. That always gets jaded. But yeah. I don't know if, can you see it coming down? Maybe that way. I need to name that thing. I look out and see it all the time, and it makes me double take the cement mixer. We'll be thankful in spring when we can start working more in here and get some of this cleaned up. But it does jade our view, but I just go like this, and then it looks so much different. So that's it for now. That's the view. All right, so let me jump back on here. Boy, it really got hot in here. Copper, you're going to melt behind there. There you go, Carol. Carol likes the foot muffs. They're crashed out. All right. Whoop. All right, let me see here. We got lots of comments. You guys are awesome. This interaction is fabulous. And here we go. Herbert's in the house. Good afternoon, Herbert. Spirit Eagle says, my sister has osteoarthritis and bone on bone in knees. Ow. Turmeric is a lifesaver for her. You can regularly take up to 10 milligrams a day of it and then lower it when relief comes for long term. That's awesome. Thank you for that tip for her. That's awesome. Carol says, I will send prayers, lots of love and hugs for your sister, Spirit Eagle, and thank you. Awesome. Spirit Eagle says, God bless all of you. We'll have to listen later. Great information. Thank you. Thanks for joining. It was good to have you. Thank you so, so much. Jane says, why is non-bleach so expensive? You would think one less step should be cheaper in the process stage. I know, isn't that crazy? A lot is backwards in our country if you really think about it. But yes, I know, I've thought that too. And our pricing on things, I mean, like I shared last week when Austin was first diagnosed and we were going gluten-free when he was 7. So that was, gosh, 2003, 2004, something like that. Anyway, I mean, the loaf of bread, $8. $8 a loaf of bread. It was just insane. That's why I started making everything from scratch. Shelly says, I've not used any deodorant, shampoos, or conditioners, makeup, or much of anything on my skin. Use homemade bar soap for my hair and body. Awesome. Awesome. Deb says, I brushed my teeth with straight baking soda for years and doing amazing oral hygiene. Doesn't leave weird taste in the mouth. Awesome. I like to use charcoal sometimes too for its whitening effect. And I use essential oils to brush my teeth sometimes too. I have sensitive teeth. My nerves are really close, so that's part of why I use the oils. It helps. It's like my sensitive toothpaste, if you will. The man is back. He survived. Diana says, thanks for the reminder, Toyka. Yes, thank you guys for that. I'm busy loving on you guys and teaching you, so I appreciate you guys doing that. Jane says, I can't even drive behind a smelly vehicle. I have to pass or turn off. I totally hear that. Lemongrass, sister. I'll tell you, lemongrass, because our truck is diesel. And funny story, the darn cat, one of them, I think it was the ones we had previously. He doesn't like cats, and he makes it known. And he likes the 2 fuzzy ones. I catch him all the time petting them and talking to them when I'm not supposed to be looking. But one of the other cats that we had given away had gotten up on the truck and peed right where the air vents are. So when you get in the truck right now, on occasion, that smell comes through. That is the worst smell ever. So I have my diffuser in the car or in the truck all the time. And I did that before because of the vehicles and different things, but now it's because of cat. So that's a terrible, terrible thing. That is just a terrible smell. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I would get nasty, nasty migraines and just be totally useless. Laura says to Deb, my hygienist told me to stop using baking soda as a toothpaste. She said it was stripping the enamel on my teeth. I've heard that before too. But sometimes I think that the hygienists say that because they want to keep you coming back into the office. Because I know other people that have used it for long term and they have beautiful teeth. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that's... That is great. I'm sorry. Jane named the cement mixer. That is great. Clem the cement mixer. I love it. That's exactly how I go about things too. You got to use the same letter. That's great. All right. So Clem, I'm going to start doing that because what's funny is there's cement on the one side of it. So it has that tan color. So that's what catches my eye when I look out from like this angle. And I always think it's a deer at quick glance. So it's pretty funny. Clem, I love it. Deb says, yep, snow against dark panels. Wow, gorgeous. Thanks, Tammy. You're very welcome, my dear. Yeah, Shelley says, great name, Jane. You made it. Are you all right? You poor thing.
No.
Are you alive?
I see you tricked me.
I tricked you?
You tricked me.
I got you out and then told it and then did my
And
snow
then
dance?
You said, oh, it's not snowing out there. It's not snowing. And look, it stopped. I got halfway up there and it started blizzarding again.
Well, they were worried about you. I believe it was Toyka who mentioned that you've been gone an awful long time and wondered if I should tug on the rope.
See, they're concerned about me. You just said get on out there.
Oh, I did. It was
You're
terrible.
like mush.
Yeah.
Mush.
Seriously. Like I could tell you what to do
You
on a
did.
good day. Are you kidding me?
You did.
Are you kidding me?
You were telling me exactly what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, that would go over about like a ton of bricks. But anyway, Jane named the cement mixer. I said we need to name it since it has a permanent fixture there. She called it Clem.
Clem the cement mixer.
Yep.
Right.
So now it's Clem.
Now it's Clem.
Ah.
Clem, how you doing?
Laura says, oh my gosh, we were at Menards the other day and a normal 2x4 was $6.04. Yes. Because we are in construction, we are dealing with suppliers all the time and we had a couple bids out. And one of the bids, let's just say it was like $2,900 and that was last week. And this week it went up to $3,400. So it's insane how material prices are jumping right now. It is
Insanity
just
and beyond.
insane. And our supplier said that he does not see an end in sight. Because I asked him, and he's always very honest with me. And he said he does not see an end in sight. He said he's not sure what's causing it. To be sure, but you know, Glenn said it's probably a combination of things between fuel prices going up. You know, they start this with the wildfires out here. You know, because of the wildfires every season, our material prices go through the roof for a couple months, and then it goes back down. But you got the rise in fuel prices right now, and the rise in minimum wage. So. And he's got that look. Yeah. He's got something to say. Hang on.
You know, the rise in minimum wage affects everybody. Affects, you know, well, the businesses can't take a hit. It's like I was saying to Tammy the other day. You take and say you have 10 employees and half of them are minimum wage. And say they go from $13 and something up to $15 and something. Right. Now all of a sudden, per hour, you're paying out per employee. It doesn't matter if they're worth that money or not. You're still paying out that extra money.
You figure that out.
And you figure that out, and that's like a year. It's like $12,000 hit. And a small business, you can't do that. You can't take a $12,000 hit like that, just because.
Plus, with some of the limitations that are still on with COVID and everything else,
they're gonna put their prices up, whether that's materials or whatever. So everything's gonna go up.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I have my thoughts on minimum wage, but.
That's for another day.
Yeah, because, well, no, I'm going to say it.
Oh.
I'm just going to say it. Because if somebody isn't worth $15 an hour, they shouldn't be paid $15 an hour. You want paid $15 an hour, work your butt off and get paid $15 an hour. If not, stay at your $7 an hour.
Yep.
It's plain and simple.
Yep. No, I just meant that's like
everybody's gotta be equal.
Yeah.
Steaming pile of buffalo dung is what that is. All right, I'm gonna go hook this up. I'm done yet.
Oh, I knew he was gonna get on a rant on that one. I knew that was coming, but it's rightfully so. That is the truth. I think I saw Tammy's got to run. All right, love you, girl. Have a good rest of your day. I do want to cover a couple things. Let me jump back here. Ew, cat urine is the worst. Yes, it is. But coming through the vent on the truck, naughty kitty. Yeah, well, I said if you talk nice to him, they wouldn't be doing that because they don't do that kind of stuff to my vehicles or to me. And it's not that he's mean to them, but he gets frustrated easily with them because they like to love up on him and he don't like it. So, so they pee on his truck instead. Oh, anyway, Deb says, thanks for the info, Laura. Mine have not been affected in that way, thankfully. I might have missed something. Oh, the enamel. Okay, got it, following. Carol says, we love you, Mountain Man. I'll tell him then. He'll be back in. He's hooking up the water. Put a blanket on, Clem. He looks cold. Yeah, no kidding, right? All right. Jane says, it's the building here, everyone moving here. Lumber prices soared. People are paying $600,000 for the same home that was $22,000 a year and a half ago. Isn't that insane? Just insane. Yep. Sadly, I need to go, student here. All right, sister, love you. We won't be on much longer, but I'm glad you could join us as long as you have. Have a good day. I'm praying for you. It's the enemy, sister. Shelly says minimum wages went up here also, but I did not see any increase in my wages, so they are almost making what I do and well. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Isn't that terrible? And that's going to cause a lot of struggles in that regard too, because you've got people that have been working for years making what they are, and minimum wage just went through the roof. So just terrible. Ooh, participation wages, just like participation trophies. That was a tough one for today. Yep, exactly. You know what? When Austin was in elementary school, that's when that started cracking down. He went from one elementary school to another, and at the first one, if he got a good grade, they would put his paper up on the hall wall, and they'd all get to, he'd get celebrated. Well, the next school, they wouldn't do it at all because they didn't want to make the kids that weren't getting good grades to feel bad. So he was so disappointed, and it's terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible the way that is going on. Again, that's another day's subject. I want to show you guys something.
We can't hurt little Billy's feelings.
No, that's what she said. Participation raise and participation trophies. Yeah.
Oh, poor little Billy can't get his feelings hurt. Suck it up, Buttercup.
No, Nancy. When we were watching something last night and the guy told his son, suck it up, Nancy.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Okay, so before we've been jumping all over the place today, but it's been good stuff. But I want to just touch on how I first decided what I needed in my home in raw ingredients to get me through winter, and how much. The how much part took a little bit because you have to kind of figure that out your first season. So you're going to need to keep track of things. And I truly believe that with our food and everything else, we should be keeping track of what we have on hand. You know, how many pounds of flour do you have? How many pounds of your sweetener do you have? And keep track of that. And set yourself a limit that when you get to a certain place, you start replenishing what you're using. But the key thing is just learning what you need and how much of it. And the how much of it is going to be up to you, whether you're running for a 6-month period, whether you're running for a year, whether you're planning 3 years out. That's up to you. We like to keep a well-stocked pantry. Like I said, moving forward, when spring sometime, I will show you the other half of my food pantry that is in totes and food-safe buckets. and share with you how I store that, how I keep track of that. I number all of my totes and my buckets, and I keep track of what I have in them. Because sometimes my totes get swapped around for use on different things. So rather than having to relabel, I just right, exactly, Diana. We swap the ingredients. And that way I can still keep using my totes, but just shuffle them by the number, which makes it so much easier. And those are good topics to preach on. Really, there's so much going on right now that is just ridiculous. And we need to be aware of it. We need to also not fight it. It's fight what we can, because it's just going to continue to get ugly. Okay, so Jane says, can't afford rent for studios are $950 and up, and waiting lists are 1 year or more. Yeah, Jane says, I agree, Glenn. Where are you again, Jane? Jane's in Idaho. They're all saying preach it, Glenn, and that they agree. And Miss Carol said, hello, Mountain Man.
Hi, Carol. You're doing good.
And Diana's the one that said preach it. He doesn't need an invitation for that. He likes to do that, but it's good. It's really good. We need that's why we point these things out to you guys, because we need to be aware of what's happening. We also need to be stepping up and standing up for things that we can. But I'm going to jump back to this. This is a recipe card. Hopefully you can see it correctly and it's not backwards. But you just go through your recipe cards of your favorite recipes. Carol says, you gotta love that man. I know, right? Even though I'm the worst thing ever, I sent him out in the snow.
Send me out in the
I didn't
blizzard
even
to
send
die.
him. He won't sit still.
I risked life and limb for you, baby.
You did.
Just for
I
you.
love you.
Just for you.
You guys are funny. I love it. Laura says, absolutely, Carol. They're loving on you. See, they love you. Ain't
Somebody loves me?
Yeah, they love you.
Wow.
They love you.
That's swell.
He's going to start doing his little hillbilly dance. I see it coming. Oh, boy. On that note, Clem, save me. No. So, with your recipe cards, and this could be a part of the struggle, is that you're used to making everything from box, and you don't have recipes that you use. For us, we have tons of recipes that we use. So I went off of our favorite recipes. So the thing is, if you don't have recipes, find recipes, and this might take a little playing around. There's like a good white or a good vanilla cake is kind of a hard thing to find. I wanted a specific taste I was going for when I was looking for a white cake. I found it, but it took 3 tries. So find the recipes that you like, that suit your family, that suit you, and go off the ingredients list and figure out the things you're going to need. So looking at this, this is a Pepper's cornbread recipe, and I have actually mocked this baby up, but this is a friend mom's recipe. Good Southern cornbread.
Pepper is from Alabama.
Yes.
And she is 80.
Yeah, I guess she would be.
She's like 80. Jody said, I think she's like 87.
Wow, is she really?
86, something like that.
Okay.
In the 80s somewhere.
Oh, she's a hoot. She's a hoot and a good cook. So, just for example, with this recipe, so I need to have my cornmeal. And I add flour to this so that it has a little bit more moisture to it and it's not as dry, just because that's how we prefer it. But then you've got your baking powder. I'm reading this like backwards, upside down. You've got your salt, and you've got an egg, and you've got buttermilk. So you need to have on hand here these things, but you also need to have, if you don't have eggs on hand, you need to have powdered eggs. So I always make sure I have powdered eggs on hand in case like my chickens weren't laying, or in this case we don't have any because we butchered them. or you don't have access to eggs, so you get your powdered eggs, and make sure you have a good source for that. And then the buttermilk, you need either vinegar or lemon juice. I used to use vinegar. I started using lemon juice. It just gives it better flavor. So having that on hand so that you can, and you can also have citrus powders, like lemon powder on hand to be able to do that so that you get the same results. So you need to think about those things, and you need to make sure you have all of these things on hand to make this recipe. And you do the same thing with, oh, that's great, Toika. Yes, I'll jump on that in a second. Because you can also use chia seeds. But you go through each recipe and you figure out your ingredients, make the list of what you need, and then figure out for the time period you're going to be shooting for to have enough food for, figure out how many times you might make this recipe. And figure out how much of the ingredients you need to have on hand. It's a little time consuming maybe, but and if you just want to guesstimate, just go through and make a list of all the different ingredients you need, and then guesstimate for your first season by purchasing so much baking powder, so much flour, so much cornmeal, and see what you have left at the end of the season, or see how much more you need to buy to make it through the season. So it's up to you how you want to do that. I guesstimated for my first season, and I did pretty good. I had plenty left over. And from there, I learned, and I also ended up needing more because we had more people here and so forth. So you get a baseline and then add to it. But figure out all your main ingredients. For me, I make all of my salad dressings. I make my own vanilla. So I keep track of all the things I make for myself and what it requires to have on hand to make that. Same with the salad dressings. We go through a lot of seasonings because we eat simple, but we season well. And I make all my seasonings. Then I use those seasonings to make dressings and marinades and different things like that, or to season a salad. So making sure I have enough of that on hand, not just to season my food, but to cover all of those things. So it might sound overwhelming, but if you start with your favorite recipes, it's a lot easier. And as you go and expand, add to your list. As you add more things, or your tastes change, or you start adding sardines to your list, change your list. And everything that we have is raw ingredients. Like, just for example, my snack foods are walnuts that I get from Azure Standard, and cranberries, and my popcorn, which I make from the kernel. It's almost empty, but so having good snacks on hand, that's one of the hardest things, I think, is if you're going to eliminate all processed foods, is making sure you have enough snacky foods, finger foods, things that are easy to grab into and go. That's the thing where it gets the trickiest. But if you learn to make your breads every week, and you learn to make your snacky foods every week, and it just becomes part of the routine, it's really easy. Let me jump in here because I saw quite a few things. Shelley says, everyone loves that man. Give him a trophy. Everyone gets a trophy, Jane says. Yep, right.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
I'm special. I got a trophy.
Are you feeling... Carol's question was, are you feeling special now, Mountain Man? Because you are. Toika said, lol. Jane says, white cake, like wedding cake with almond. Yes, exactly. And knowing that you have that almond extract on hand to make that delicious cake. Yes. Laura says applesauce is a good substitute for eggs. Yes, it is. And do I have it handy? No, but I'll pull one of these out and show you. I do like to keep a lot of dehydrated things on hand. I have not had the opportunity to dehydrate because of our circumstances and not having the garden. So I've been stocking up on Thrive Life, and I do sell Thrive Life also. So you can go, yes, fried rice, TrayerWilderness.com/Thrive Life, and you can stock up on this too. But there's multi reasons why I carry these things here in the house and have these things. They're also really light and easy to go with. So when we pack out and go somewhere and we have good food to take with us. It's not heavy and it's easy to transport. But the reason that I went that route is because I keep applesauce on hand in the event that I hit a point in the winter months that I don't have applesauce. I have my dehydrated applesauce. Another great resource is Toika said about you can use a flax egg in that. Yes, and you can also use chia seeds to make an egg. The replacement for an egg. Those are great healthy ways to replace egg if you cannot find a good healthy egg substitute. And that's finding good dehydrated food is important. That's why I like Thrive Life. Their flavor of their food and their processing of their food and where they are harvesting it is very important, because otherwise I couldn't have it. Herbert's heading out. Okay, Tammy, my lunch break is over. I need to go back to work. Bye, everyone, and God bless each and every one of you. God bless you, too. Thank you for joining us on your lunch. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Take care. Glenn said, see you later. And God bless you, too, Herbert. Let me see here. Toika says, I need to get my dehydrator out again. Yeah. Now, see, the one I have, I probably won't be able to use, so I might be putting, I think somebody already put dibs on that. I have to check that. I forget who said that to me. But I won't be able to use our dehydrator anymore, but we are going to build in the future a solar dehydrator, and I have a really cool designed one that will give me multiple shelves to get the process done very quickly. Shelley says, I just made some jerky like once a week. I also used it to raise my bread I made yesterday. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, okay. So Toika's not able to eat the yolk. So yeah, finding those replacements. And that's the thing. You guys each have different needs and health needs. And I think health is going to be one of the next things we're going to delve into. So be ready for a question on the community for that. But that's how I start, is figure out your favorite recipes and the things you're going to make the most, and go off of that and really, sit down and analyze what it is you guys eat, what you need to eat, what you need to make those things, and what you want to have on hand. My list is extensive, and I mean, you can see I've got chia seeds and quinoa, walnuts, flax meal. This is oregano. These are figs. I'm missing some labels. So I've got my sorghum and my hemp hearts and quinoa flakes. Quinoa flakes are great to use for like potato flakes and fillers. Use them in my meatloaf. And then behind all this, I have my other jars, my rices and my grains. Carob powder, cocoa powder, chocolate chips are over here. Oh, I gotta share something with you. It got so hot in here that my cocoa wafers melted in the jar. So when I say it gets hot in here, it really does. I'm surprised these dogs don't melt. But also here I've got my oats, I've got the cornmeal, I've got brown rice flour, I've got my organic raw sugar, I've got the sorghum flour, I've got yeast, I've got brown sugar, which I have replaced with the coconut palm sugar. I had some left, so this jar will get replaced. Erythritol, I use it, but I don't really care for it so much. It doesn't melt down real well, and I like the monk fruit so much better. So powdered sugar, that's actually organic. I actually powder my granules, my organic cane sugar, to make my powdered sugar. And you can do that in a food processor, in a blender. Sea salt, I've got cornstarch, I've got baking powder, I've got baking soda. Now, just to give you an idea of something, as an example of how to go about figuring how much of something you need. Baking soda, you need, so much per recipe. But baking soda is one of those things I use for everything. Deb said she used it to brush her teeth. I said I used it in my hair. I use it to clean things. It is good to clean bathtubs. It is good to clean showers and toilets. It's good to clean cookie sheets that have stuff burned on to get things clean. So it is part of my cleaning regimen as well as my baking regimen. So I always have 25 plus pounds of baking soda on hand at all times. So knowing what you need and having it, you know what your kids like. So I've got my whole row of flours: almond flour, oat flour. I've got my cassava flour, potato starch, coconut flour, garbanzo bean, and garbanzo. And then so I've got all my beans. So literally everything we eat is right here in these jars or in my freezer. So having all those raw ingredients and knowing what you need is really important, and it's a process. So it's something you've got to start slow and work your way into and really put a lot of thought into. And as time goes by, you will be very well stocked. And then as a matter of how you store the food is another thing. And that's, like I said, we will touch on that then, because there's a lot of different things you can use to help prolong the life of foods. With beans, we'll get 25, 50, 100 pounds of beans. Those, oh boy.
Beans, magic fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better it feels. So lean back and let her squeal.
And there he's gone after he sings his fart song. Oh, if only you knew what my days were like. That, all the time. It's so funny. So, okay, so beans produce gas, just in case you didn't know. So you can actually cook your beans up and process them by canning them and put them in jars for easier use rather than having to wait for your dried beans to cook up. So there's lots of different things we can do, and having things on hand is really important. As far as like my sorghum and my quinoa, my oats, I can mill all of those down. And my flours, the berries I have, when I use those, I use them fresh. So I don't mill them ahead of time. Oh, he's bringing the wash in. Chop, chop, woman.
I'm gonna pour your stuff up, throw my stuff in.
All right.
Well, all right. So we can get rolling there.
All right. So, house is gonna take off again. All right. So let's see here. What do we got?
Well, let's see here.
Diana said, "Eat simply, season well." I really like that. Yes, it's our meals are kind of routine, but we break them up. Like, there's a lot of different things we like, and we try to do a variety so you don't get tired of something. And he is meat and potatoes, like, big time. I could go without meat and do like a quiche or do some kind of vegetable dish. So I can't do that for him. He needs protein. I mean, he burns so much energy. So, so learning to do things. I made soup last night. That soup will become tonight's soup. So planning ahead is also important and key to eliminate a lot of stress in your life and last minute decision making that forces you to feel like you have to eat out of a box. You don't. Like Kelly said the other day, it only takes her a few minutes on her wood cook stove to thaw meat. Same for me. Yesterday when I made the soup, I put the burger in the pot, a little bit of water so it didn't stick fast, and some fat, and seasoned it up really good and let it do its thing on there, and then came over and I put the lid on it. That holds the heat in, the steam helps thaw it, and you just keep breaking it up as you're going about the other things you're doing, and it's thawed very quickly. So, learning to do that. Spaghetti and meatballs is a quick meal. We do have pasta on hand here somewhere. I do brown rice pasta because it's gluten-free. I also like the cassava pastas. Cassava flour is very different, and I've just started working with that. It's very different. It requires it is like a starch. It's almost like an arrowroot or a potato starch. And that is different, and I'm really playing around with that to make us crackers because we both get the munchies for something crunchy and salty, and popcorn's good, but sometimes it's nice to have that crunchiness. And I like to do our own nachos as well. So doing those is really easy in the frying pan and the skillet, making our own nachos up using my press. So mesa corn flour, different flours you can use to do that as well. And the fry bread. Yeah, he said fry bread. Yes, he loves fry bread. I make fry bread a little different than, I use the Indian fry bread recipe, but I add the grindy salt on top of it, and the grindy salt, yes. And cook that in my fry pan, my cast iron fry pan. Eating leftover beef and cabbage stirred fry for lunch. Recipe is on the community page. I will have to check that out. I love cabbage. I know I saw you posted. I just didn't get a chance to go back and look at it. How do I learn to like sauerkraut? What, you don't like the tartness? Can you eat pickles? Or is it just specifically sauerkraut that you don't like the taste to? And if you're making your own, you can not process it as much so it doesn't get as tangy, if that's what it is that you're not liking so much. And sometimes our bodies just don't like certain things. Yes, pickles, dill, okay. Yeah, the sauerkraut, are you making your own or are you purchasing? And what type are you purchasing? If I get sauerkraut, I like to get it in the, there's a couple brands, I have to think. Do you remember what that, is it Bubby's? Bubby's is a brand that is really well made, and I have a picture of it somewhere. But that's a really good brand. And you're in Washington, so you should be able to find that. I found that at the health food stores. And there's definitely a difference. You might need to taste a couple different kinds, but I have found that the good stuff really has such nice flavor to it, where the other stuff in the grocery store has a weird taste to it. So I'm not sure what you're trying to eat, but try a different brand. And what do you experience? Is it just that you don't care for it, or do you get sick from it? I am looking for good gut health. Purchased yesterday, it's in a pouch. I've had stuff in the pouch already that's not bad, but if yeah, I make my own also. Jane says she makes her own. I like to make my own as well. The best thing, what is it that you don't like about it? Share that with me, and then maybe we can go from there. The taste, okay. Is it too tangy, or has a weird I don't lie. What made you say that, Jane? That's funny. Oops, so taste, is it too tangy? Is it, okay, well, let me know. Whoa, you're throwing stuff downstairs. So let me know what it is that that you don't like about it, and we'll go from there. It's been a long time. Laura says, yummy. Sauerkraut with ring sausage and melted cheese. Now I'm hungry. Oh. See, now, yeah, we do pork and sauerkraut. That's like a good way to start New Year's is supposed to be good luck. That was just something from our Pennsylvania Dutch heritage.
The Deutsch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put that on the couch.
That's what I'm doing.
All right. But keep me posted, Toika, and we'll continue to follow that. So we'll have to give it a try. Do I serve cold or hot? You can do it either way. I started a 12-day probiotic regimen. Good belly. I feel good. Awesome.
Sauerkraut over mashed potatoes.
Oh, hot. Yeah, that would be hot. But you can do it either way, hot or cold. Jane says, wow, cheese. Is that good or bad? Oh, she never. Okay, I get it. So you're asking cheese. Yes, cheese. That did sound good, didn't it, with the sausage and the sauerkraut? Sauerkraut. Yeah, and you can eat it cold or hot. We usually eat it hot, but you can eat it cold. When I ferment my vegetables, I often am spooning it out and eating it cold as well. So you can do either. Oh, and you know what? I wanted to read you guys something. With caraway Do you use caraway on yours, Jane? There we go. Almost forgot I wanted to read you guys something today. So are you guys focusing before I forget? Oh, I think that's so funny. That makes me think of your mom, and to see your mom getting giddy. She's not with us today.
She's probably busy.
No, she's visiting.
Oh, that's right.
She's with Crystal and Logan. So if you're watching the replay, hi, Mama, and Crystal and Logan. I wanted to ask you guys if you were focusing on your growth mindset or your fixed mindset. Focus on your growth mindset. And this was kind of interesting. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to read this one real quick to you. Kind of goes along that line of our growth mindset and our fixed mindset. Proverbs 11:24. My battery is dying. Oh well. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. Jesus taught his disciples to be distributors of his blessing and first responders to those in need. I love our community. I feel like we are so there. I feel like we were really hitting that so hard. And I'm so proud of you guys. That's why he involved them in the process. He was equipping them to represent him in the future. In feeding of the 5,000, the miracle of multiplication did not take place when the food left Christ's hands, but the disciples' hands. He blessed the 5 loaves and 2 fish, gave it to them, and they set out to do what seemed ridiculous, feeding a multitude with a boy's lunch. But as they did it, that's weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't normally do it in the beginning. Now you did it. Sorry. I don't remember where I was. Okay, so feeding a multitude with a boy's lunch. But as they did it, they experienced the miraculous. Why? Because when the Lord's blessing is upon what you have, you'll succeed in spite of the challenges and obstacles. God has given each of us something that others need, but sometimes we fail to recognize it or we doubt its worth. So we conclude, I don't have what it takes. You do, but it's in seed form. Jesus described it this way. First the blade, then the head, after that the full grain in the head. And that was Mark 4:28. God has deposited within you something he wants you to recognize, nurture, and use for his glory. When he blesses it, you'll be amazed at the underdeveloped potential you've been running around with. This miracle began when a boy found an unmet need and decided these people are hungry and need to be fed. That's also when the disciples discovered what Jesus could do with what they had, even though it looked hopelessly inadequate. The word for today is use what God has given you. So I wanted to share that with you today to go along with our growth mindset and our fixed mindset, because with a growth mindset, we will see what God has in store for us. With a fixed mindset, we will miss it all the time. So we need to be open, and we need to be aware that we do have amazing and blessed talents, and we are amazing because God made us that way. I am jumping off of here also. So okay guys, I'm off. Got to put bins out and sort the recycling. We have a lot of it. Bins only get emptied once a fortnight. Lol. Take care. Love, hugs, prayers, y'all. And the foot muss. Love you, girl. Love you very much. Take care of yourself, and we're continuing to pray for you. Okay, Toika says, thank you, I don't like caraway. Okay, so try some nutritional yeast if you can't have cheese. Has similar flavor. It does. I don't like fermented kraut, Jane says, but I will post my recipe. You control how sour you want it. Simple 10-minute water bath. Oh, that's awesome, Jane. Yeah, either post that here, or if you can post it also in the community, that would be fabulous. Caraway is good for gastric stuff. Interesting. Okay. I haven't used a whole lot of caraway. No choice. If I stop growing, I will die. Amen. Amen. And or we're 6 feet under, right? You know, I don't want to know. So awesome, awesome. Okay, so Jane asked Laura if she was in Minnesota, and Laura says, why, yes, I am. There was a Buck family by the lake I grew up on. Any relation? Oh, funny. Oh, wouldn't that be something? If you guys actually knew each other, how funny.
I know you.
Yes, I know you know me. Diana, it was so awesome to have you on here. You guys take care. Continued prayers, and keep us posted on your MRI. And I'll be reaching out to you. Jane says we lived on Roberts Lake in 87 through 89. Toyka says no yeast. So how close were you guys, Laura and Jane? That's really funny. They're going back and forth on that. That's really funny. Yeah, so we all have a lot of dietary issues that we need to avoid. So it's learning, and you know, we have the internet at our hands. So we need to be our own advocates and research how you can replace the things that you can't have. And learn how to continue to do recipes that have those things, you know, that has something in it that gives you the sensation of it. What's the matter?
Oh, it's different. It's not the Phillips. It's a.
Is it the Star? I have that one for my motorcycle out there.
No,
That's Star. Oh, yes, dear. All right. Jane says everyone grows up on a lake there. Ha ha. That's funny.
Yep.
Oh. So were you guys close? That's kind of funny. You are correct. 10,000 lakes, you gotta be close to one. No kidding, really. Wait. Well, I'm going to say a prayer for us and jump off because it's liable to get crazy, and we've been on here a while. But I really appreciate you guys. This is, again, another good conversation. And I will be jumping on probably with shorter videos here and there throughout the week. But Monday, I will be on at 2 o'clock, okay? Since Monday was a hit and Monday seemed to be a really good day for us all, I'm going to shoot and start doing that on Monday at 2. So hope you guys can join then again as well. And I'm going to say a prayer and get you guys off to the rest of your day. Papa, I just thank you so much for your love, mercy, and grace. I thank you for your presence here. I thank you for just joining all of us like-minded people and allowing us to be here and support one another and love on one another. I just ask that you lift Pat Kenny in your hands as he's struggling with lots of pain and his cancer. Just be with him daily. And I ask that you wrap your loving arms around Carol and Robin, Diana, and I know I'm missing somebody, and Kelly and Mike and Courtney. And just be with them and love on them, give them the peace and comfort they need through this healing process and this journey. Be with Deb as well. Just help her with the overwhelm, and me as well. The enemy is really attacking, and we just appreciate your support and your love and your strength in our lives, and you provide the supernatural that we don't have. And just thank you for this time together. I just ask that you wrap your arms around everyone watching this and the replay, and just give them a wonderful rest of their day and weekend until we see each other again. And Papa, I just love you and thank you for all you're going to do in all of our lives. We love you and ask this in your precious and holy name of Jesus. Amen. Okay. So, Jane says, no Orchards Lake, but we were half an hour apart. I used to go to the Menards and Fleet Farm in Burnville, Twin Cities, Harley, right on 35. Oh, that's funny. Thank you for your time, Tammy. Love to all. Love you too, sweet girl. Praying for you. You were the other one that should have been lifted in that prayer, and I'm sorry. I try to remember everybody, but you are in my daily prayers praying for you.
How close to that one of the people that were in the space shuttle that dropped, that crashed, there was a town there that they were from in Minnesota. Trying to remember the town. I have some friends that live outside of that town.
Oh, I didn't
I
realize.
don't remember the name of that.
It's so funny though. It's such a
Down there.
small world because Deb and Rhonda, or Deb and Tammy, have a mutual friend and had never met before until on our live. So it's really funny how many people are connecting. It's crazy. God does amazing things. I don't know if they know what town that was or not. Let me see. Laura says, I used to walk to the Burnville Center when it first opened. Jane says, amen. Singing praises for abundant blessings. Awesome, awesome. Amen, amen, amen. So I love you all. Thank you so much for this time. Again, praying that you guys all stay healthy and continue healing, and we will continue to lift you. But have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will be popping in with short videos, and I'll see you Monday at 2. Love you guys. God bless.